Hello everyone. Welcome to the Dead Mall series, 10 years later. This is Marley Station Mall, which opened in 1987, and I visited this mall and did a video tour back in January of 2016. At that time, the mall was doing very well. They had new tenants, and a new company had taken it over. It was spruced up and lively, and there were people walking around. It was nice. And it was a little comforting as well because my roots are deep in this mall's foundation. I spent so much time here as a teenager, and I worked here, and I went on dates here, and I had friends here. Seeing the mall today was pretty tough. Macy's is closing, a store that's been at this mall since it opened, and they're winding down to their final weeks of sales. Most of the storefronts in Marley Station are abandoned, and the mall is just as far down the tubes as I've ever seen it. It's so sad, but it's made me come to realize a few things. I used to say in interviews that I didn't get emotional about the malls I went to, but that's because those weren't my malls. This is my mall. And visiting here was tough. After I left, I just felt so low. I don't want Marley to close, but I don't see them making it past 2027. It's so bad inside. Just so bad. Here's the movies at Marley Station, which used to be a corporate theater. Now it's a local theater owner that runs it. And I don't know how many crowds they get in here, but the day I was here, it was dead. You can see the neon is burned out in many places. This used to be Boardwalk Fries. I had a friend who managed it. And then looking in here, this is the old Subway, which was open for years. And that's closed down too. Currently, there's only 3 places left to eat in the mall. There's the China Bowl, the Japanese Grill, and Sbarro. Sbarro was an original tenant that was there since the mall opened. Walking up here towards China Bowl, which is closed, I guess maybe just on Mondays. Back in the day, the mall had bells, so when they went off, you opened your gates, and you didn't close your gates until that bell went off at night when the mall was closed. Otherwise, you would get fined. They were very, very strict about it. This day and age, I don't think they care very much, considering there's only about 10 or 15 stores left. This was Rita's. And you can see inside, it's just like a dying heart. One thing I will say about Marley, which sets it apart from other dead malls, is that they still take care of their plants. Their plants do have a nice green glow to them, and they're quite healthy. And looking down here, we can see the Wish sculpture, which used to greet people who came into the mall back when it was a big thing. It went from inspiring people to what it is now, which is just sort of a sad reminder of what the mall once was. And here's JCPenney, which will be the final anchor standing. and you can see they have virtually no customers inside. Going down this hallway toward where the old Macy's location was, I'm reminded of just how bad things have gotten. There are so many empty stores. Over on the right here with that column, that used to be FYE. And inside here is the old Cinnabon, which closed in 2014. And I don't think a soul has been in there since. It's completely still and quiet and closed. I remember when I worked at Macy's, it was on this side of the mall. And I worked with this girl and we had a break. So we decided to step out the doors up there on the second level. And we were chatting and talking. And then all of a sudden, 3 security guards came running over towards us. And they were loss prevention guys who worked in Macy's. We had neglected to use the employee entrance and exit. So they made us go back inside and go out of the employee exit. And then we had to walk around to the doors of the mall because we were not allowed to enter the store or exit the store from the main entrances. I always remembered that because it was almost like a SWAT team. They converged upon us. These 3 guys wearing badges. And why would you have a badge being a loss prevention person? I'm not quite sure, but at that time they took loss prevention very seriously. And we had to go back through the store, out the doors, and then walk around to go into the mall to basically stand in the same spot we were before and finish our conversation. Macy's was a seasonal job. And I worked there for a few months. And I used to sell the hell out of the credit accounts. And when you got somebody to open a credit account, they would give you sort of a scratch-off card. And you would get the scratch-off card and you would take it to human resources. And they would go and they would scratch it off. And then whatever the dollar amount was on the card, they would give it to you in cash. So I was very excited about that and literally opened so many accounts that the store manager came down to personally thank me for getting so many people to open credit accounts. And I worked with some very strange people in Macy's. I remember they had this box come in from Calvin Klein. And they had these black Calvin Klein t-shirts with Calvin Klein written across the front in very simple letters. They were sort of 70s style. And I wanted one so bad. And they were promotional for the people who worked in that department to wear. But Macy's didn't want them to wear the shirts. So they threw them in the garbage. And I went to get one. And I was screamed at and yelled at that I was stealing from Macy's. And I'm like, it's in the garbage can. Like, what is the big deal? It was a very tough place to work. People were very, very annoying. And I didn't do very well, but I did probably end up putting a lot of people in debt opening up those card accounts. Here we are passing the Bath and Body Works, which was open during my original 2016 visit, and they're still open today. And we're headed towards a very quiet center court area of the mall with the beautiful neon and stainless steel elevator. And looking back towards Macy's, you can see more of those neon squares up on the ceiling. And it's just a beautiful place. And everything is closed. This section of the mall in the 2016 video was bustling. There were a lot of stores open, a lot of people walking around, and now looking at it, it looks like it's closed. It looks like I was here after hours shooting. There's just nothing left. This is where Wilson's Leather was, and I worked here for a while. I just remember selling really expensive suede jackets with Winnie the Pooh on the back to a bunch of people, and then upselling them a can of water-resistant spray to put on their jacket to protect it from the rain or any other liquids that may get on the jacket. And looking here into these stores, which are all empty and quiet and forgotten. It is so sad. Here we have Sears, which closed in 2021, and they have all the lights on and the sign is still up. And looking inside is like so strange. I got my first credit account ever here at this Sears. This barbershop has been here forever, and they have a very loyal customer base, so they won't have any problems when the mall closes. They'll just have to relocate, and I'm sure their customers will keep coming wherever they move to. Coming up here, you're seeing the outside of the second floor of Macy's that is covered in signs, everything on sale, this % off, store closing, this store only. We get it, Macy's. You don't have to put signs everywhere. We get it. We get it. This is Ritz Camera, and it closed a long time ago, but they still have their blown up photos pasted to the wall outside the old store. At the end there, that was Friendly's restaurant. And then this was called Heidi's Salon, and I had some friends in here too. And it was a fun place to hang out in the back. Everybody was on drugs. Everyone loved going to the club. And look at that lamp. Isn't that fabulous? I don't know who designed these signs, but even the sign has broken promises. Limited exclusions apply. And that woman, she looks a little too happy. It's like the store's closing, honey. You need to be a little more just content looking. No smile. Just be like, well, I got the sale stuff. It's over. I don't smile in situations like that, but that's just me. Headed down the escalator. On the right here is where Herman's World of Sports used to be. And my parents' friend was a manager there. That's how I got the job. I didn't work there very long. I wasn't very sporty. I was much more into beer and cigarettes and club drugs. So selling someone a tennis racket wasn't exactly up my alley or area of expertise. So here's the sculpture, and it's been here since the mall opened. And the reason why I always think about this sculpture is because it was right in front of Dulcie's Shoes, another store I worked at. And I used to sit in Dulcie's and look out at that sculpture and think, what the hell is that? What was it supposed to be? And in here is where Dulcie's was. And I looked through the gate and I said, this is right, because it's the same floors and that column was there. God only knows when Dulcie's closed. It's probably been 20 years. But this is where I spent a lot of time. And this was the framing store, which is next to Dulcie's. And we used to go in the door and go in the back and smoke cigarettes in the bathroom. It was much better than walking to the outer doors. You could just go in the back and smoke away. It was quite nice. This used to be Sam Goody, and I met my first celebrity here, Linda Blair, the actress from The Exorcist. She was late that day, and we were so excited to meet her. The first guy in line asked her for a photo. Him and his friend went around the back of the table and put their arms around her, and the guy gave her a kiss, and she looked absolutely horrified. I'll never ever forget that, but she was very nice. And she does a lot of dog charities, so good for her.
There's no pictures to be taken in the mall. We're not allowed to take pictures.
Even at this stage in the mall's life, they're still enforcing the rules. Good for them. Anyhow, we walk on, and I reflect. I'm really going to miss this mall. I don't think it's going to be open much longer. I think what'll end up happening is they'll close the interior down and keep JCPenney open and maybe keep the food side open and rope off the rest of the mall. I have a lot of good memories here. Nothing but good memories. Well, except for my crappy retail experiences. But I met a lot of good people here. People who took me under their wing, got me out of the county, took me to DC, took me to Baltimore, took me to Philadelphia, took me to New York to go dancing. It was a great time, but now it's different. It feels like a funeral. And I understand now why people have these emotional attachments to these places. I'm really going to miss this place. This is my final video here. Goodbye, Marley Station.